Hey guys, it's Dr. Thompson. I hope that you're all doing well. And I want to talk with you a little bit about syntactic categories, which we know is exactly the same thing as parts of speech. So whether a word is a noun, whether it's a verb, whether it's a preposition, etc., we're going to cover all of the ways in which you can know what a given word is. And this is going to help you in the assignment that you're going to do for Sunday, because what you're doing is you're labeling each of the words in a given sentence according to its part of speech. So if you have this lecture handout that you can download from the site, and it says syntactic categories, parts of speech. This is the handout. So what this gives you is basically a guide to all of the different tests that we can use to know when you have a given word, what type of word is that? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it something different? So I'm going to go over in detail with you all of these tests. And then if you guys have any questions about anything, if you think of an example that you can't determine, okay, is this a verb or a noun, or is this a preposition or an adverb, please let me know, get in touch, because it will be very helpful for everyone in the class to have discussion of any examples which are not clear. So let's take a look at the handout. We're going to basically see that there are two types of tests that you can do to know what a word is. One is morphological, and that's looking at the structure of the word. The other test that you can do is syntactic, and that's looking at the structure of the whole sentence. So let's first go through the morphological tests, and those are the ones under morphological evidence. So you see morphological evidence, and the first one you have there is nouns. So your first test is to know, is this word in this particular sentence working as a noun? And so notice that the first form that you have there is the plural form. In other words, for example, girl versus girls. So what is the difference between the meaning of girl versus girls is that when you have just the word girl, it's possible to have a singular interpretation. You can understand that as referring to one individual girl. Versus when you have girls, the form with S at the end, now you have a plural interpretation. So you would use that in a sentence like, I saw 5 girls yesterday. Because the 5 requires that you have a plural meaning of the noun, so you wouldn't, in other words, be able to say in English, I saw 5 girls yesterday. So given that S is functioning as the plural marker here, that's going to be our test to know whether we have a noun in a sentence. And notice that when you have certain nouns, they may appear in plural without taking the S. So you have plurals which are what we call irregular plurals. They're still plurals for the test. So they still indicate that you have a noun. For example, if you have the word child, and then you make it plural, so you say, I saw a child, then you have it singular, and you change that to I saw 5 children. Notice what you've done there. You've added this ren at the end instead of adding an S. So why didn't we say, I saw a child, I saw 5 childs? That's not the way that we form the plural when we have that word child. So that's interesting because it shows to us that in English we have different processes for forming the plural. It's still the plural though, and if it's any type of plural, the word that you're forming must be a noun. Only nouns can become plural. So what's another example of something like that? If you have the word fish and you make it into plural, so you say, I caught a fish yesterday, or I caught 5 fish, Even though it's plural, it stays in the same form. You're not adding the S to the end. Why? Because that's another irregular. So another way to have an irregular plural in English is to just not change the word at all, is just to keep it exactly the same.